Hey, what's up guys? Kevin Cage here. Hope all is well. Let's get right into it today. I want to show you a few looks of the cryptocurrency market. Please let me know your thoughts down below. We have Vechain and Algorand on the side-by-side daily. Obviously, as predicted in the past, we see them cutting through the moving averages, just playing ping pong between. Notice cutting through the 50, right to the 100, bouncing back up to the 50, checking down, cutting right through this time. Now we're sitting on the 200, bounce up, check perfectly. I mean, you can't make this up. Look at that. That wick right there on the daily coming right back down. All right, same concept with Vechain. I know people thought I was absolutely nuts when I was saying that some of these assets are going to come down and touch their 200 moving average. And I don't know why that's so unbelievable to believe, because we are still waiting for true adoption scale. We're waiting for actual volume and transactions and true utility and regulatory clarity. And until then, we're going to have these price fluctuations, which are, in my eyes, massive opportunities for all of us. So instead of being angry that your coin, your project is not mooned yet, take your responsibility and basically see what you can do and make of it in the meantime, and be a little bit more proactive as well. So remember, on September 2nd, just a reference, we're talking about Algorand and a variety of other assets coming down to their next moving average, and obviously it did, but it didn't happen in a week, so people, say you're wrong, you're an idiot, and it bounces around and fakes people out. But I'm just staying quiet, I'm simply watching, I'm waiting for an opportunity, and I will dollar cost average if we do fall off this cliff. You can see the data. Kaboom sent me a pretty cool information today regarding Swell showing XRP performance before and after. I definitely recommend you guys go through each and every year and take a look at that, and I think it'll show you something pretty interesting. So right here, Algorand, look, a 50% drop from there would be at the 100 moving average, 33 cents. Obviously, we are just below that today. Really, really interesting. And then right here, I was talking about Vechain coming down to the 200 moving average, just getting just under 1 penny. And yeah, I was reading the comments. You're an idiot. Vechain is a great project. It's going to go up, up, up. And I think it's a great project too, but it doesn't mean that the price cannot fluctuate until things really get started. So I'm used to the negativity, to be honest. It's part of being, a content creator, making controversial YouTube videos, putting out news and analysis. We all have opinions, but let's please just respect our differences. I'm not trying to prove any other TA guy wrong. I'm simply showing you what I'm seeing, and time will tell. All right. So everybody's had wins and losses. If you pay close attention, nobody's perfect. And I just want to show you what we're seeing. All right. So funny enough, we have Vechain. It did dip last night just under that 1 cent. So let me zoom in a little bit. And interestingly enough, what we can do is this. If we just throw the fib pivots, this is typically what I use big time. We can see, the moving average right here, we got a death cross. We have this touching the S2 perfectly. Now, I know I was saying on Patreon and other assets, if they cut through this, we could see this as support. I have other gentlemen saying, that 0.8 area, which is absolutely possible just on support and resistance. And yeah, I'm not trying to predict timing. I'm not doing any of that. You can do great TA with just support and resistance. You can overlay fibs, but essentially you're going to have to keep evolving how you look at things, because the markets are ever changing. The market makers have all of the orders. It's a super organism interconnected with every single market, the equities market, real estate, metals. And until you realize that, a lot of people are just sitting in an echo chamber. So looking at that S3 would be crazy. And this would be a typical drop, 1, 2, and a lot of people wouldn't really expect a third drop. And the crazy thing is this: if my stupid head can look at this for 2 seconds and realize a drop is coming, does that mean the drop is going to be worse than most people think? And typically, the third drop is what gets everybody. We drop once, oh, that's it, we're good. They buy because it starts going up. Drop again, oh, we're good, it starts going up, suckers them in again. And then that third drop is like that kill shot. And I know Mr. Level Up's been saying that a lot. And I don't know about you guys. If you have different opinions, fine, but I'm just talking with people that are charting 40 hours a week, that do this full time, and we will simply see. And if you're just looking at, the big alts, you're going to miss it. If you're not looking, you have to look at the micro caps that are guiding the way. You have to look at the other markets and just understand that we are in a very, very sensitive point. And yes, we do have gaps in the Dow Jones, in the NASDAQ. And do I believe in higher highs for this market? Yes, I do, provided that we close these gaps at some point in the future. So if you say, no, Kevin, we're going up, Algorand has gaps that Chris found. So do you really believe that we're going to be going up to $1, $2 for good and never come back and retrace? Because it's my belief that once these gaps are closed, it's on. And I think that obviously with the utility of the network and the value being driven, that it will appreciate certain assets that survive regulation. These two assets, or at least Algo in particular, I think is here to stay. I mean, per even Brian Brooks and, all the lobbyists, I think it's pretty evident, but to each their own. Another asset I want to show you guys is, and you see my alarm set here as well. If I can get lucky, I'll happily take that and start doing my first buy for Algo there. Let me show you. Well, let's see. So right now, assets are not really doing too bad today. Sometimes there's like 40% pumps. There's, 30% days. We know Ocean took a hit the other day. EWT, I'll buy, under $6 if it does drop. Obviously, their connections with Ripple. And let me show you, let's look at HBAR as soon as I can find it and actually organize. Okay, so HBAR, I want to show you this. So everybody, look at these moving averages. Look how they're pointing straight down. So we have death cross again. And most people would think this is it and they're going to hoard in and buy. And if I just put my whole trading portfolio in this, I mean, yes, that's a great buy. But HBAR, to me, is going to be a behemoth in the future, but it is still behind in terms of what it has to work on. So if it does drop another 30%, and yes, that's an extremely bold call, but we've seen it in the past fall off the cliff and they kind of fake you out. I'm not going to get into that now, but another 30% from around that current price, guys, that's close to 2 cents. Now, I know some of you have been able to get HBAR under that, or around that penny mark. Some people have bought it when it came out originally. I remember even on what was it, Bittrex, I bought HBAR and it doesn't even show on this price. I bought HBAR at, let's see, probably 30 cents, 9 cents, and then I got some down around probably 2 cents as well. And then by the time we were down here, I had no money to buy it. And I was like, oh, whatever. So, this is a project I believe in. And I'm just saying, I'm just sitting on the sidelines. If it starts going up and breaks all of this and shows me it's game time and they start curling up, awesome. I'll buy back. I, sold obviously when I told you guys in the very beginning of September last month, and we will simply see. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, what does this mean for XRP? Well, what I can tell you is we do have some gaps on XRP, and they're not crazy like some of these other assets. It's not like March 2020 per se. And I know a variety of people are basically showing that we should be bursting anytime to 30 cents, 34 cents, break through that, get right to 46 cents, 60 cents once again. And I would love nothing more than that, believe me. I have my XRP, I've been buying it for several years, I'm not going anywhere. And yes, it has some of the strongest fundamentals in the blockchain space, and obviously one of the longest lasting, has never had a single error on its ledger as well. 55 million plus closed. I'd actually have to check on that number to see how high we are now. All right. So typically, you're going to see assets going down. Same thing with like Fetch. Different assets are at different points. Notice we are just under the 200. And we've been screaming this from the rooftops. Remember? September 2nd is when I started telling people on YouTube. And since then, just to give you an example, and I don't care right, wrong. I'm going to be wrong in the future as well. And that's just how it is. I just want to show you. So let's say September 2nd. And since then, and since that point, we've gone down 60%. So this is just one of dozens of examples of why I just cannot ignore what these other alts are doing. And some of these alts that have dropped are great projects. Some of them that are bad projects have pumped substantially. So this is just an example. And hopefully you guys respect, my point of view here. We'll see what happens. I'm just saying that due to some of these assets doing exactly what we're seeing and some assets being ahead and some assets being behind, we cannot ignore what we are seeing. Does this yellow line look bullish to you? This 50 moving average. Let's just look in the past. Whenever it did that, and I'm not saying it's going to be the same depth, worse, less worse, whatever, but 50 just curls down. This is in a dangerous area. And I know a lot of people have shown you this as well. And I'm just showing you per data, whenever it's pointing down, it's not super bullish unless we get that little bounce. You see how it just right away cuts up. We start getting to those green candles and boom, we're ready for a bull run. Until then, and until I see this actual 50 moving average get very sharp for other assets, I'm going to expect that we may climb down a little bit, just like stairs. All right. So we've already had, 1 drop, 2 drop, and we're right around there. I think we could get a third, and we will simply see. I know I shared this with some other people as well. Let me pull up this. And funny enough, so just on the daily, we're at the S1. Remember, we went down to S2 as well. And these are different points, so I don't know how viable this would actually be. But I want to show you. So S2 would be right here. That is bold. And from that point, from current prices, that would be another 30%. All right, so simply sharing that, we can take a look at XRP as well if you guys want. And XLM, I'll be buying if it dips. It does have some cool, gaps as well. Zilliqa, Digibyte, you name it, QNT, HBAR. I mean, there's just a variety of great assets, honestly, and just watching all of them, doing my best to. All right. So let's go XRP. Okay, so I mean, we have the 200 right here around that 21, 22 cent mark. And will we go much lower? I'm not really sure. I mean, just so you know, the S3 is at 17 cents. We have the S2 at 20 cents. And this is why, I mean, I'm honestly, for trading purposes, if you have your XRP, you're good to go. But for trading purposes, I am a lot more interested in getting assets that are going down the most. And I'm focused on percentage gain. I'm focused on growing my US dollar. Any profits that I do get, I dump into alts that I like, such as XRP. So when we see this moving average cutting down, and we can even go to the 23-hour to see how much more insightful we get, boom, death cross, boom, right around the death cross. What happens next? All right, you tell me, guys. You can see all of this. Obviously, this was a scary one, just straight down. And I don't know if it'll be a nosedive. And timing, it's anybody's best guess. This market is ruled by artificial intelligence, trading bots, and whales. And I don't know how you can't believe that. It's, different things are going to happen. EOS did that pump, and then people say, oh, it's because this piece of news with Google Cloud was announced, and they just don't get it. You can't be using, fundamentals that you learned from the 70s nowadays. But to each their own. All I recommend is you guys find something that works for you. If you want to just invest in fundamentals and hold the long term, that's probably going to be the best thing for the majority of people, because you can take advantage of the tax advantages by just being patient, dollar cost average, and that way you're less emotionally invested. And obviously, we know what is coming. And lastly, I also do agree with the sentiment of the Dow Jones taking a bigger hit than crypto, meaning that crypto will form a higher low. It won't go as low as ever before, and will start climbing and getting higher highs. And that is some people believe that this is finally the money from the equities market and the stock market dripping into crypto. Remember the phrase trickle, trickle, flood from State Street regarding digital assets and tokenization. It is happening sooner than later. We can see all of this in front of our eyes daily. And whatever assets you're in, just please be smart, know the risks, and know what is coming. When we talk about these bear scenarios, this is an opportunity. This is no time to get sad or get down or get impatient. I'm right there with you. So we will see what happens. And yes, it does not mean that it's going to drop 30% in a single candle. Notice these things are tricking retailers. I guarantee when we were down here, and people may have bought, people were probably scared, and then once we got up to 24 cents, I bet people were buying right here. And then I bet some of you, to be honest, some of you probably bought at 25 cents thinking that we will rocket right to 30 cents then and there. Now, could we? Absolutely. But remember, this market is, AI controlled, and this is essentially our psychology being charted, or at least mapped. So we'll simply see. I'm going to stay quiet regarding charts unless we go down to the, S3 again. Until another dip, but I'm just sitting on the sidelines, observing and gathering fundamentals, reading the news, and trying to see where this goes. I don't share everything on this channel always regarding the fundamentals that I'm seeing. I'm trying to keep it Ripple-centric, but you best believe that I am doing my best to focus on the geopolitical events and implications, because you cannot just look at an asset class that is going to swallow all other asset classes. You have to look at the asset classes that they are going to swallow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please let me know your thoughts down below, whether you agree or don't agree. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.